Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to build two of the most important things that you'll need for your Death Star hallways. When you look at the movies, you'll notice that they're everywhere, spread out, but very evident once you know how to spot them. Of course, I'm talking about the small and the large round hallway panels. I had to think there for a second. I'm Frank Diorio, you're watching DioramaWorkshop.com. Okay, so here's all the materials you're going to need in order to build your hallway round wall panels. You'll need black foam core sheet, black poster board. It's like a little thicker than paper, but it allows you to bend it. You'll need Death Star round wall panel blueprints, Death Star round wall panel decals. These are available for free on the website. Pencil sharpener, pencil, fat black Sharpie, X-Acto utility knife, X-Acto refills, scissors, hot glue refills, ruler, and, very important, a push pin. Oh, I forgot, you'll also need some scotch tape or masking tape. In order to find your free decals and blueprints, go to my website, DioramaWorkshop.com, go to the tutorial menus and scroll down to Speed Index. Scroll down until you find the diorama that you want to build, Death Star hallway round panels, and click on the decals. Scroll down until you see the decals PDF. Click on it and then save to your desktop and print. For your blueprints, go back to the Speed Index and click Blueprints. Scroll down until you reach the Death Star round wall panels. Click on that and then simply download to your desktop and print. Okay, you'll notice that the techniques for the small and the large round wall panel are exactly the same. It's only the size of the width that is different. So let's start with the small panel first. Okay, what we're going to be wanting to do is create a circle. And then from this circle, we're going to slice it in half to create these two halves over here. Now, in order to do that, we're going to grab a scrap piece. Let me find one. A scrap piece of foam core like this. And we're going to make two dots 3 centimeters apart. So start about 1 centimeter away. Put one dot over here. Measure 3 centimeters. And put a second dot. Grab your push pin and you're going to want to make 2 holes, one here and one here. Your second hole here is where you're going to poke your pencil. So make sure that you sharpen the tip and then you're going to poke where you put the push pin, spin it as you push until it goes all the way through. Take a piece of foam core. It has to be at least 6 centimeters square. If it's a bit larger, that's fine. If you don't have a scrap piece already, you can start on using one of the fresh foam core sheets. But I have a little piece here that's just perfect for me. You're going to take your push pin, put it in the first hole, put the push pin in the center like this. Then take your pencil and place it inside your pencil hole and then go all the way around like this. Once you have your circle, now we have to cut it in half. All you have to do is find your center here, align the ruler so that it touches the center, and then draw a line right across. When I start cutting, I always like to start with a fresh blade because if you've watched many of the videos, you know by now that foam core is the killer of the blades. It just dulls them so fast, you have to like keep replacing them if you want a nice, clean, smooth cut. Here's my tip to cut circles. What I do is I go in small sections, okay, and then spin the foam core around in order to not have my wrist move in weird directions that will make the cut harder and give a weird shape, okay? This takes some practice. I've been doing this for many years now, so I'm used to it. When you start to do a circle, it might not be 100% perfect, but you'll see later that the cardboard skin will hide any imperfections here. So what I'll do is I'll start cutting. Now the first thing you want to do also is when you cut, you want to cut straight like this as much as you can. Don't put your blade at an angle. You want to keep it perfect 90 degrees if you can. You also want to lower your blade, not high like this, but low, so that when you slice, you're going to get a smoother cut than if you try to do it with just a little small pointy section of the blade. Slice, reach the line, then carefully start turning a little bit. When I see that my wrist is starting to be at a weird angle, that it's hurting my hand or feeling unnatural, then you go straight. Remove this piece. Restart spinning it like this until you get to about here. Your hand will start getting more and more steady as you gain experience on this. Spin. Straight. Spin. And there you have your circle cut out. I can take my ruler, place it along the line that I drew before, and slice that right down the middle. Now you have two perfect halves. If you're building more than one small round wall panel, you can use this as a template now instead of doing it all using your spinning technique. So you could take other scrap pieces that you have left over and then just place them, your halves, and then trace with your pencil. And then I would just cut this out in order to make extra round panels. These are the only two pieces you have to cut in foam core for your small round panels, 15 centimeter by 6 and 14 centimeter by 2. So grab your foam core, start measuring on one end, 15 centimeters, measure another 15 centimeters, connect your markings. So this is your 15. I want 6 centimeters wide, so from here measure 6 centimeters, and then the other piece is 2 centimeters, so I'm going to mark that right away. 2 centimeters, which makes 8. And then here 6 centimeters, 8 centimeters. Align, connect your two markings with your ruler. Here's the 6 centimeter line. There we go. You can freehand it if you feel comfortable doing that. If not, use your ruler. Again, when you cut straight, not slanted, and try to lower your blade close like this to the foam core instead of pointing up. So slice, take this, put that away. This D piece is only 14 centimeters wide, not 15, so I'm going to remeasure over here. We're going to trim 1 centimeter off. So here's demarcation of 14. And then same at the top, 14. Connect the two. You now have your C and D pieces. Now we need to cut using black poster board, not foam core, this 10.5 by 15 centimeter rectangle. Using poster board allows you to bend it easily. It's thicker than paper, so it makes it more structural, but it's also not as thick as the foam core, which would be impossible to bend like this. You're going to want to measure 15 centimeters, then 15 centimeters on the other end. Now along this line we want to measure 10.5 centimeters. So 10.5 brings us here. Measure at the bottom, 10.5. Connect your line with the ruler, then draw straight across. We now have our shape. Since the Death Star has many of these small round wall panels, you're probably going to end up making more than one, so I'm going to just save some time and cut along this entire strip here. Make sure to keep pressure on your ruler so that your poster board doesn't go sliding all over the place. Now I'm going to cut this little piece here. You can put this big strip away for now until you make more. Now believe it or not, we're almost done. That's how easy this is. You have your base, the two end pieces, your support, and your skin that is made from the flexible poster board. Now you're going to want to glue your half circles on the top of your foam core base, not on the side. So put a small line of hot glue along the bottom. Place it like this. Make sure it's flush here. You want a perfect 90-degree angle. Now grab your other end, another line of hot glue. Align it as you did, like this. Make sure it's flush here and a nice 90 degrees. In order to improve your half circle shape for your poster board skin, what you can do once the hot glue has cooled down on both ends is place it down on your surface and gently, don't press too hard, you don't want to crush your foam core, but gently roll it like this, like a rocking chair, back and forth. And this will smooth out your foam core cuts if you have little imperfections. This will give you a nicer, smoother contour around your circle. Okay, we're almost done. We have our top and bottom half circles attached to the base, and what we want to do now is make this stronger structurally. So we're going to be using this rectangle piece, which will fit right in between and create more of like an I-beam effect to add extra support on each side. So we're going to put some hot glue on each end. Come on, I know you can come out. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Okay, and now you're going to slip it in between the two half circles. So try to be as close to the halfway mark and 90 degrees with this piece on each side, like that, and flush here with the top of the circle. We're almost done. Now all we need to do is attach our poster board skin. So put a line of hot glue all the way down. And then align flush. You can trim it after if it's not 100% perfect, but align flush your poster board and press down. Make sure not to burn your fingers. Once your seam is hardened, you'll notice that your poster board is pretty straight angle. Like, see, there's no memory of a curve in it. You can now start bending it like if you were petting your cat. Bend it in circular motion around your half circle, and this will be setting a memory into your poster board so that it'll make it easier when you go to glue the other side. You could now at this point start folding it, bending it like this in order to increase the memory even more. The only thing you don't want to do is you don't want to squeeze so hard that you're going to make a fold in the center. You want to try to keep that round, flat shape. You can see now that it curves really well and it follows your end pieces over here. In order to glue it, we have to go in sections, because if you try to glue it all at the same time, you're going to burn your fingers and it's going to become a big mess. So you want to do in little sections like I'm going to show you. Okay, let's start by putting a little bit of hot glue on this end only. Don't put any glue on this side yet. So just a little bit in the center, maybe a centimeter wide. Now pull tight towards the top and around and press down with your finger here. You want to make sure your poster board goes right clean around your half circle and is as flush as it can be to the underside. Keep the pressure over here. Don't press here, which will crush your poster board. Press and put pressure only along the spine here of your foam core. We can move to this side now. Put a bit of hot glue and then pull and curve. Put some pressure here at the top. You'll feel the warmth of the glue coming through the poster board. Now hold that for maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Then we'll be able to concentrate on the ends here. Since your hot glue dries way too fast in order to, seal such a large surface, we're going to go with glue stick for this side of your back panel. So you're going to rub a good amount all the way down like this, all the way across and on some of the sides here. Now, grab your Scotch tape, pull a fair amount, maybe 2 inches. We're going to place it along the end. Say, let's call this the bottom end. You're going to be pulling tight and then bending over. So let me turn it like this. You're going to be pulling tight, bend over, and then make sure that this is flat here. This way, the Scotch tape is keeping a nice pressure over here where your glue stick is doing contact with your poster board. Now we're going to repeat the same Scotch tape technique all the way across. Skip an inch or so, place the second piece of Scotch tape. Make sure to press here, then pull and bend over. Another piece of tape, another inch or so. Put your finger, then pull and bend. On the end this time, put your pressure over here, pull and bend. If you want to make a perfect seal to make sure that you don't get any of the bubbles, take a piece of Scotch tape about the length and then place it sideways half on your poster board and then pull and bend over like this. Now in an hour or two, the glue stick will have dried and made a nice secure connection with the poster board and the back of the foam core. So in time, if your Scotch tape ever dries up or tears, it won't destroy your round wall panel. It'll keep it in its shape because of the glue stick that you used. Okay, now we're done with the construction. It's time for the decals. You'll notice that the red lines are your cutting guides, and your arrow here is pointing to where this dark patch ends. This will be your folding line. Don't cut all the way across like this, because then you're going to lose track of these guides. You want to just go past the zone where you're going to be needing to cut. So slice about from here to there, like this. Turn your paper around, align your guides, slice that off. Now we can cut off the entire surface of the paper after those two cuts. So go here, cut like that, and then same on the other side, align. Make sure to press down on your ruler when you're cutting so that your decal doesn't shift like this and then you end up cutting into it. Now the first thing we want to do is use the side of our pens, not the tip. We want to use the side of our pens to color the thickness of our decals. This way, when you apply it onto your dark foam core, you're not going to see this unsightly white line. Look against my shirt. Do you see here with the dark line, and then here with the white line? So continue this all the way around, every side. It's a step that seems unnecessary, but it makes a huge difference. There we go. Now we have to fold along these two lines. When you're using full label sheets that you have to peel back the sticker, because of the waxing, it makes the paper thicker, so it's a little trickier to fold than when you're using just regular paper. So if you're using these labels like I am, you want to carefully start bending, putting a slight memory into it. Bend carefully. See, I'm just going like this. And see, it's starting to bend, curve around the line that I want it to go to. Keep pinching more and more, closer to the line that you want to bend. Right? And then you're able to start pinching completely like this. To follow the line, when you pinch, you can pinch and roll, so that if you see that it's going too much towards the inside, then you can pinch and roll outwards to sort of like sway your line or sway your pinch in a more specific direction. So I'm happy with this. Now you just move your finger all the way across to really secure that memory. Move to the other side. Same technique. Start by just putting your fingers like this behind and then just roll like this, see? Slowly, memory. Start pinching more. Pinch more. Now see here, I'm going too far in. So when I'm going to pinch, I'm going to roll this way. So I'm rolling my pinch. So see, now my pinch is exactly at the line. Pinch, pinch, pinch. And now I have full memory of my decal. The dark piece, see, goes behind the wall, and then your actual decal folds around like this, and then the other side of the dark folds back this way. If you're not using peel full-size labels like I do, and you're using just plain paper, make sure to use a glue stick like Yoo-Hoo or other brands in order to apply the back of your decal and apply on here in order to attach your skin. Never ever use hot glue to put a decal. You're going to get a hot mess. You don't want that. So a good dose of glue stick. Don't press too hard because you're going to crush your poster board. So all the way around, it's time to peel them off like this. Peel off the backing like this, and then like that. Now don't bend this completely yet, okay? What we want to do is we want to see if this goes the way around, and it does. So now we can take some pressure from the center out, go a little further, center out, center out, center out, center out. Then you reach your edges. Now you can bend the back. Do the same for this side. And if you want these to stick properly, you can use some Scotch tape just down the middle, like that. Another little piece over here. Now this won't go away anywhere. Now one of the cool things about your small round panel is also if you're using it as a support for a second floor, you can turn it around and any basic decal fits exactly on the back of the 6 centimeters. Your small round wall panel is done. Now let's move on to the large one. It's pretty much the exact same thing we did for the small one, except that we're doing a 12 centimeter wide back as opposed to the 6 centimeter for the small panel. We have to make another spinning template to create our circle. So grab any scrap piece of foam core that you have. Start from at least a centimeter off. It doesn't really matter the exact measurement. Put one dot over here, and this time you're putting 6 centimeters instead of 3. So 6 centimeter dot, push pin, first hole, push pin, second hole. Take your pencil, poke it in the second hole, spin. As you turn it until it goes through, grab a piece of foam core that's at least 13-14 centimeters in width, minimum 14 in the opposite direction. You want enough space to create your circle. Your pencil hole, you want to align it close to the edge of one of the sides, but you have to make sure that if you push down on your pin here, you have to make sure that when you spin this around, your pencil hole doesn't pop out of the side, meaning that if I were to go and put this here, you would see that here it works well, but as soon as I'd go here, the pencil is sticking out of the cardboard base, so I would not be able to complete my circle. So you want to measure that your second hole for the pencil is inside your shape on this side, the back side, and on this side as well. So now we know that there's enough space. I'm going to push my thumbtack, put my pencil in, the guide, and then I'm going to spin around. There's your circle. Take your ruler, make sure that your center push pin hole is aligned with the side of it, then trace your line all the way across the circle. This gives you your exact two halves. Extend your blade, don't go sideways, try to stay as 90 degrees as you can. Let's start as we did for the other one. This one should be a little bit easier because it's a larger circumference, so you're not making as tight turns as you did for the small one. So go across, spin a little bit until your wrist becomes a weird angle, then go straight. If it doesn't pop off right away, do a second pass. Rotate slightly, start where you left off, turn around. Your wrist is at a weird angle, go straight. Same thing, turn, go straight, turn, go straight. And there we go. We have our circle. Place your ruler against the guideline and slice down. You now have two perfect halves. If you're making more than one large round panel and you want to bypass your circle template technique, you can always take your half circle, place it on a piece of foam core, make sure that it's flush on the side end over here, and then just trace with your pencil. You'll need to trace two half circles for every extra large round panel that you want to make. Okay, so for the C piece, which is your foam core back, we need 15 centimeters and 15 centimeters on this side. Use your ruler to connect the two guides and then slice all the way through. So we have our 15 centimeters. Now we want 12 centimeters. So measure 12 centimeters. 12 centimeters at the bottom. Connect your guides with your ruler and cut with your X-Acto blade. D piece 4 centimeters, another 4 centimeters, connect and cut. Measure 14 centimeters, 14 centimeters at the other end, connect the two, trim off the excess. Now the last piece we have to cut is on our foam board, not foam core. You want to measure 15 centimeters on one side, 15 centimeters on the other. Connect the two, draw a line. Now we want to measure 20.5 centimeters from one end, 20.5 over here, draw a line. If you're only making one large round wall panel, you don't have to cut all the way across and waste this poster board. You can only cut this area that you're going to use, but I'm going to be using this for others in the future, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut through the whole 15 centimeter width here. Cut this piece. All your pieces are now cut. You have your A and B foam core top and bottom half circles, your C back piece, your D spine support, and your black poster board that wraps around the outside. As you did for the small round wall panel, you want to align your half circle to the edge on top of the back, not on the side. Because your rectangle is almost a square shape, make sure to identify which side is the 15 centimeter matching width of the half circle. You'll see the other side is too long. Put a line of hot glue along the bottom of the half circle. Carefully place it like this. Make sure it's centered on each side, flush with the top, and a 90-degree angle. After about 30 seconds, your hot glue is cool enough to move on to the other side. Another line of hot glue at the base, and press it down and check all your alignments. Centered, 90 degrees, flush. Before you glue your D center spine piece into your base, do a dry run to make sure that it slides properly. You're going to want to glue it center of your half circle and flush against the top and at a 90 degrees, not tilted like this. Put some hot glue on each side. Start on this end, flip it around on this end. Now insert it like this, lower it. The glue is going to dry quickly, so you have to act fast. Align flush with the circle on both ends, 90 degrees. Let this stand for about 20-30 seconds. Once the hot glue cools down, we'll be able to move on to assemble the poster board on the side here. Since the large round wall panel is bigger than the small one, duh, you can do the memory right away instead of once it's attached onto the piece like we did for the small one. So this one you can actually curl into sort of like a toilet paper shape, and then just keep some pressure on it for a couple of seconds, and when you let go, the memory is already there. Put your hot glue along one side only, like this, and a little bit down the edge over here, maybe an inch on each side. Carefully align your poster board. Press down. If you don't want to burn yourself, a good technique is to take a scrap piece of foam core like this, and you can use that to press down and make sure you don't burn your fingers. This excess you can scrape off once the glue is hardened, and it'll turn into like those little snots there, and then just rub off really quickly. See how easier it is to flip around because you have a larger circle? Because the large panel has this excess over here that we'll be trimming later, we'll be able to use the hot glue all the way around and on the side. Now that your seam is cooled down and securely attached, we're going to put hot glue from here to about a little past halfway of the spine on each side, on the bottom and at the top. So put some hot glue here. Okay. Now, as we did with the other one, you want to pull as you curve it, okay? So you want to like pull some tension to make sure that it's really flat along the whole other side of the circle. You'll notice that when you fold over the remaining poster board, you have a little edge that sticks out there, which is what you want. You'll be trimming that later, but it'll allow us to put some hot glue on the remaining surface over here. When this zone has cooled down, then we can move on and apply some hot glue on this last zone here. Use your finger to curl this up out of the way. Grab your hot glue and place it about an inch like this down your half circle, then along all the edge here, and down the other side of the half circle. Don't go all the way to the end. You don't need to do that. Now you can peel back, or pull back I should say, right? Make sure that it's flush here, and then for this part you can actually pull and roll onto your surface. Once the hot glue is cooled down enough, after about a minute or two, you'll be able to trim off these excesses with your X-Acto blade. Now to trim this flush What we don't want to do is cut this way, which is pushing what we just glued on outside and will cause tearing. We want to push the blade towards the inside where there's stronger structure. You're going to extend your blade really long, lay it flat on the top, down like this, down like that, until you reach the end. And that's all it is, just a little trimming like this. Check the other side. This one doesn't really need trimming. Leave it at that. We just have this piece to trim. You're going to lay this flat against the table surface, and then you're going to extend your blade as far as it can go, and then you're just going to press against the back here and move your way towards the rear. So you're going to go like this. If you have to do 2 passes, do so. And there you go. You have a perfectly flush edge. So you want to use the side of your Sharpie and just go over your poster board like this, just to hide any of that unsightly white line. Do you see the difference? Do the same thing on the other side. It's time to apply our decals. You'll notice on the print, just to explain a little bit, you have the red lines over here. Those are your cutting guidelines. Over here is your folding line. So this whole dark zone is going to be attached to the rear of your round wall panel. Okay? So you don't want to trim here. You want to trim where the red lines are. In order to best use your cutting guidelines, when you're going to trim your decals, you want to not cut all the way across your paper. You want to cut just past where the other cutting line is, and you want to go, say, from here to here, and then here to there. Once the top and bottom are trimmed, then you can chop off the complete sides, and you won't lose reference with your guides. So align your ruler. And like I said, start here, go all the way across, and stop before you reach the end of the paper. Then turn this around and trim. Now you can go all the way across and you won't lose your guidelines. So align the red lines, then trim. Make sure to press really hard down on your ruler so that your paper doesn't move around while you're cutting. Now the first thing you want to do after you cut your decal is you want to darken the white edges of your paper, or the thickness of your paper. Using your black Sharpie pen, you're going to go against the side of it, not pointing down, but using the side, and you're just going to glide it along the paper. If you've watched a few of the videos, you pretty much know this technique by now. Again, it doesn't seem like much, but it makes a huge difference. And when you do draw with the decal side facing this way, and then holding the pen here, so that if your hand slips like that, you'll be drawing on the back and not scribbling on the front of the decal. Now we have to fold along these dark lines. So carefully bend like this. Slightly pinch. Do it in steps. When you're using full label sheets like this, that have the peeling backing, it's a bit thicker because of the wax paper, so folding is a little trickier. When you're using just regular paper, it's much easier to fold. So you pinch slightly until you start getting the memory of the fold, and then when you see that you're pretty much aligned with where it's supposed to fold, then you can pinch it tight like this. And when you're done pinching, then you can use your nail like this and then make a really clean fold that keeps the memory like this. See? Now for the same thing on the other side. Fold slowly at first. Just carefully bend as close to the line as you can, sort of like guide it. The more it bends, the closer you can get to that exact folding area. And then start pinching. Nice. And then move it across. If you're wondering where these folds are going, they're actually going behind here on your piece. See? Then your decal will fold like this and then fold back on the other end. And that way it'll give you a clean edge that will hide your ugly seam here. Before you peel your sticker and glue it, do a dry run, hold it in place, find your edges here, make a mark at the top. Now to allow us some extra jiggle room when applying the decal, I always like to put a coat of glue stick all the way around. This allows you to manipulate a little longer the decal because it acts kind of like a lubricant and it'll make it the surface slippery. And so if your decal is not placed 100% correctly, you'll have time to move it around. Peel your decal. If you're using regular paper, you don't have to do this step, obviously. Find your two line guides and place it like this at the top. Then press down the center and then move outwards. So center out, center out, center out, center out. When you reach your fold, fold it over like this. Now flip this. Same thing. Center out, center out, center out, center out. Do your folding line. If you want the rear more secure, you can always use Scotch tape. Take a little piece of Scotch tape, apply it, and there you go. Your large round wall panel is complete. If you're building a stacked level diorama and you want to use one of these large round panels as a support, then if you're going to expose this side, the cool thing is that you can use any two basic decals and it'll fit exactly to hide this empty space. So I decided to use these two decals because I think they look really cool with these little panels. Now I printed them, cut them out. These are from the basic wall set that's available online too. So I want to cover the side edges, as you know by now, with my black Sharpie to hide the white line thickness. The most important thing is to know which side is the top, so that when you go here on your large panel, the ones with the little squares, the 4 squares, at the bottom you have 2 large squares. The 4 squares is the top. To tell if your decal is pointing in the right direction, you'll notice that there's a shadow or a highlight here at the top, and then a shadow line at the bottom. I was going to place them like this, which kind of looks cool, or does it look cooler like this, with these things on each side? Let me see. I think I like it like this more. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my glue stick, apply it on the halfway mark, all the way across like that, and then carefully position your decal. Make sure that it's aligned with the edge here and at the top. And the good thing with the glue stick is, can you see, your decal can move around. So you want to align it with the edges, then press it all in into place. Now take the glue stick on the other half. Now I'm using regular paper for these instead of full decal sheets. That's why I'm not peeling them. Make sure that all your lines line up over here. Now the decals here is the ones I chose, but you could put any decal that you want. Now you don't have to put these decals, but it kind of looks cool if you're going to have this exposed to act as a support for multi-level hallways. If you place a large and a small side by side for your support, then in the back you would have decals that would look like this. Now what's cool about the Death Star diorama is that everything is built like Lego. So everything is based on 6 cm panels. You could decide to place a small round panel here, or you want to place it here or here. It doesn't matter, it'll fit anywhere that you want to. If I put it here and then I want to put a second one next to it, I could do that. And then if I want to put a third, just like magic, I'll put one over here. It gives you variety in your hallways, and it adds the details that you see in the movie. And instead of these two, I could take these out, and then I could place one of the large ones that I just built instead. You could fit that one in just like that, or I want to put it against this one and then have a smaller one on the other side. It's up to your imagination. And there you have it. Your small and large round hallway panels are complete. All you need to do is build your hallways now. Thanks for watching DioramaWorkshop.com. If you want more interactivity, you can follow us on these multimedia platforms. If you have a diorama request you'd like to see me build, send me an email to dioramaworkshop.com@gmail.com. If you have a Facebook account, join the official Star Wars Celebration Diorama Builders fan club today. If you like the video, please subscribe, share, and tell your friends to come check us out. If you want to build this diorama at home, click on the link to warp to dioramaworkshop.com, home to all the free decal, blueprints, and everything you need to get you started.